Hi everyone, I'm Lisa and welcome to my channel, The Southern Seamstress. Thanks so much for dropping by. I hope everyone's been doing well since my last video. This week I've been busy finishing all the cute kitchen gift ideas that I want to share in today's video. Last month I did a part 1 video of my kitchen gift ideas and it included several different kinds of cozies like bowl cozies, plate cozies, casserole cozies. It also had reusable bowl covers and some pot and pan and bowl protectors. In this video, I've got 7 more gift ideas to share with you. One thing these gift ideas have in common, besides that they can all be used in the kitchen, is that they are all great scrap busting projects. I know most of you probably have some cotton scrap fabric laying around, and hopefully this video will give you a chance to use some of those scraps. So let's get started with the first gift idea. I don't know about you, but in my kitchen towels never seem to stay on the towel bar. Even though I put them on the towel bars, usually I will find them somewhere else on the countertop or on a table or even in the living room or by the coffee machine. And sometimes that gets a little frustrating. So this first gift idea is certainly one that I'm definitely going to be using in my kitchen. And that is adding a towel topper to my kitchen towel so that it always stays secure on my kitchen towel rod. I've got 2 different styles to share with you today. The first one uses a button closure to keep it on the towel rod. I found this idea on Pinterest. I went to the creator's blog post and it had the instructions for making the towel topper. But when I was going back today, I can find the picture on Pinterest, but I can't really find the directions. For some reason, they don't seem to show up when I click on the blog. I think this towel topper is by Hobby di Stoffa, and I think it was originally in Italian or German, and Google just translated it for me in English. Now she does have a template that you can download. Now it's not like a regular PDF template like most of the patterns I've got in this video. She's kind of done a sketch and then she's taken a photo of it, and I had to download it from Flickr. But you can create a free Flickr account. You just mostly put your name and email, and then you can access this photo. And the photo that shows up on Flickr looks like this. Now she had said in her original instructions that I wasn't able to find today. She said that she didn't print this 100%, that she printed it a little bit bigger. So what I did was, instead of printing it at 100%, I did like fill the page, print it as, large as my printer would fill it, and I think it came out to about 117%. But I took the template and I added another 1/2 inch all the way around, which made my pattern about 8 inches across and made it from top to bottom about 9 inches tall. I do have the JPEG of her picture saved, so I will try to link that in the descriptions below. And I will try to link her blog post, but I'm not sure if the directions will actually come up. But all she did was, before she cut this out of her fabric, she made a rectangle of the top part of the fabric, and then she added a strip across, and this strip's about 2 inches, and she did like a 1/4 inch seam. So then your fabric you'll have a rectangle, and the bottom part will be the strip, and then the top part will be the coordinating fabric. And then she laid her pattern down on it and cut it out. So she did 2 of those, and then she just sewed all the sides together except the bottom. And the bottom she pressed under. And I pressed mine under about a 1/2 inch. So then you're going to have this, and then she just took her towel and she kind of pleated it in so it would fit inside of her 2 pieces after she had turned them right side, out. So on the sides of the towel, you want to turn those edges in towards the back. And then I just made 4 pleats across. So you want to get it to the same width as your towel topper. So after I got the pleats to the same width, and I kind of basted across the pleats to hold them in place, and then I just placed this inside and then stitched across. And I kind of had to pin the front and the back. And the only thing I didn't like about that was you really have to be careful to line up the front and the back so that your stitching hits the edge on the front and the back. I think the towel topper turned out really cute. The fabric is just some fat quarters I got from Walmart. And the towel is actually a set I got at Walmart. It's a terry towel, and I will say it is a little more difficult to use these terry towels that are bulkier. And so I would suggest maybe a thinner tea towel, or maybe the waffle type towels, or if you just got some toweling material. And I think that's what she had, just used some toweling material, not the terry kind, and made her own towels. But this towel's from Walmart, and it's actually just half a towel. So you're going to fold it in half and then cut it in the middle, and then the cut edge is the part that goes up in here. So each of the towels will make 2 each. So it makes it very inexpensive, because I think I got the skinny stripe gray, wide stripe gray, and then a solid white in my set, and it wasn't that expensive. So that set's going to make 6 towels. Then I put a cute little white flower button, and I believe that's from Hobby Lobby. Now, if I do this towel again, what I would change would be, I would definitely put like 1 layer of interfacing in this top part. She didn't specify that, and I had originally was going to go ahead and do that anyway, but then I forgot. So I think since it's got a buttonhole in a button, it would be best to have at least like 1 layer of interfacing to help reinforce that. I did go ahead and reinforce my button with putting another button right directly behind it, so it just kind of strengthens that spot right there. The other thing would be that I would probably use a thinner type towel, and like I said before, I would probably attach this in a little bit different manner. But after you do get it attached, you're going to top stitch all around your towel. So I think it turned out really cute, and that I think is by Hobby de Stoffa. I will definitely link the template below, and then you can always make it a little wider or a little taller and decide if you want 1/4 inch seams or 1/2 inch seams. Now, the other towel topper I use doesn't require any type of buttons or Velcro. And this towel topper is by Angela from Notches Sewing. I think it's a really cute towel topper. She has a complete video tutorial on her YouTube, and I will link that in the description below. So in this one, you don't need a button. The towel just kind of wraps around the horizontal kitchen bar, and then it pulls through this little tab right here. So unfolded, it looks like this, and you can make this out of 1 fabric or 2 fabrics. Now this is a little bit thinner towel than I used for the first one. This is just a little yellow towel that I got from Hobby Lobby in their kitchen section, and then the fabric is from Hobby Lobby also. So she gives really clear, complete instructions on pleating your towel, and gives you the dimensions of what this rectangle will be and what the band will be. And I believe in this one I did not use any interfacing because it's a fairly lightweight towel, and I didn't really think it needed it. But I thought that was really cute, and I did make a second version of hers, and I used the other half of the gray and white terry towel. So I just used some fat quarter fabric for it. On this one though, I did use a layer of interfacing on the band and a layer of interfacing on this topper part, just because this was a little heavier duty towel. And just like the first towel, this terry was harder to work with, so I would recommend more of a tea towel fabric or the waffle type fabric. I think that's what she uses. But I really like this pattern. It's just so simple, but it works so well, and it looks good with all 1 fabric or with like 2 fabrics. And then she also says if you want to do some machine embroidery, that you can do it across this strip right here. So this one's by Notches Sewing, and I will link her video in the description below. The next gift idea I want to share is from Hello Sewing, and it is a little scrubby pad, or what she calls an unsponge, because unlike regular sponges, there's no real sponge material inside of these. So in her blog, she gives complete directions, and she also has a template that you can download. As you can probably tell from the ones I made, the template is actually just a rectangle. She has a large rectangle template and a small one. Now this is actually her large one, and after you do the seam allowances, it's going to come out to this size. So I thought this one was pretty small, so I didn't bother to actually make the small one because it's going to be like this big. So I made some using this size, her large, and then I also just enlarged it, added some space to all the sides, and made my, I guess it would be jumbo compared to hers. So here's her large, and then I added, I think, 1 inch all the way around her template, and then I have this size. So in her directions, she cuts out 2 pieces of cotton fabric, one for the front and one for the back, and then she does 2 layers of cotton batting, and this cotton batting can just be the regular cotton batting with this. It can have the scrim in it, like you would find if you were doing like a quilt. And what I got was just some cotton batting from Walmart that I think it's twin size. I think it's big enough for a twin size quilt. So it's going to last me a very long time. But since these are going in the microwave, it doesn't matter if it has scrim. You don't have to get the special like wrap and zap or anything. So she does the 2 layers of the cotton fabric, 2 layers of the batting, and then she does a layer of netting on top of it. So for the netting, she suggests that you can either buy some netting, and I had bought some, I think it's by Annie's, off of Amazon, and this comes in like a bunch of different colors. And it's also the type of netting, like if sometimes you're making a bag or an organizer, it'll call for like a pocket that's made out of netting. So this would be that same type of netting. I just got a package of the Annie's white off of Amazon, and it wasn't that expensive. Plus on these you only need like a little bit for each one. But she also says you can reuse the netting off of some produce bags. So I looked through my vegetables, and I did have a bag of Brussels sprouts that were in a little net bag, this purple. And on this netting, since it's a little more spaced out, you want to use a double layer. So for on my little bag, I think I have enough to do 2 sponges. I did put it on, you probably might can tell on camera, but I put the purple from the Brussels sprout bag on this one. Now, I will say that it's easier to work with the one I got off Amazon because this one doesn't stay as uniform. It may stretch out more here and then be kind of warped here. So I don't know if you can tell on camera, but my little sponge is kind of not laying exactly flat. It's a little bit warped, but that's because of this netting. So it's a great idea, I think, to try to reuse anything that you can, but I probably do prefer sewing with this netting. So I did my first one just like hers with the 2 layers of batting, but then I made some with just like 1 layer of batting, and it seems, I think it will work fine too. And then on my larger ones, I think I did 1 layer on this. And especially on the larger ones, I like to use those just when I'm like wiping off my countertops, and I don't feel like I need like a lot of padding to do that. So I made this one with just 1 layer, I believe. And then I think this doesn't have any layers of batting, and I think it will do a good job cleaning too. And then I might have put 2 layers in this one. So I think it would just be a personal preference of how spongy you want it to feel, how thick, of whether you do 2 layers of batting, 1 layer, or 0 layers. So I think I said at the beginning you need 2 layers of cotton. Actually, you need 1 layer of your like quilter's cotton, and then you need 1 layer of more of a terry cloth. So for my terry backing, I got these little dish rags from Hobby Lobby. There was a set of 4. I had the bright orange, the turquoise, the lime green, and then this hot pink. And it's in Hobby Lobby's kitchen section, and all 4 of them were $6.99 together in a set. And they're fairly large, so you can make quite a few sponges from each one of these. And then of course you can get these also like at Walmart. Definitely get the white ones there. They may have some colored ones. And 2, I had got some when I was at Sam's Club. Now I did notice the ones at Sam's Club, of course they're cheaper each, but they're a little bit thinner. So I really prefer the ones from Walmart or Hobby Lobby over Sam's Club. So that's the little Unsponge from Hello Sewing. My next gift idea can be used in the kitchen or really any room in the house. And it is this cute little quilted circle coaster. So I found the instructions and the pattern on the Craft Fox's website, but the pattern is actually by Helen Luckett Baker. I think she includes it in a book maybe, and they had just taken an excerpt from the book and was talking about her crafting. I thought these were really cute. I thought the circle shape gave it kind of a more modern contemporary look. The fabric I used was some fat quarters I got off of Etsy. And there's not really a pattern to download. So what you're going to do is just make a circle template. So I already had some round wooden coasters, so I just measured those, and I think they came out to about 4 inches or 4 1/4. So you're going to put your 4 squares together and make one big square, and then you're going to cut a piece of batting the size of that square, and then you're going to just do a machine top stitch diagonally across the corners of your square. And then your backing is just solid, so you're going to do just a solid back square. So then you're going to attach your batting, just stitching an X on that. Then after you cut out your 2 circles, what she has you do is sew them together, probably like with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then she just leaves a little opening to turn and then just closes up the opening when she does her top stitching. Now I did try that the first time, but I could never get the little opening to look nice and circular and curved like the rest of the coaster. It was always like kind of wonky looking. So I modified the pattern a little bit, and what I did was I made my square in the back big enough so that I could cut it in half and do 1/4 inch seam, but leaving the middle of the seam open and just doing the top and bottom. And I had did my quilting lines first, and I just cut it in half. And then I cut my circle out and then sewed all around the outside of the circle, and then turned it using the opening in the back. And then I just kind of whip stitched the back. And that way I got a nice rounded circle all the way around. So I think that's just easier for me. But if you are able to turn in the edges on the side, then you can do that. But I really like this project. I think depending on what colors of fabric you use, and prints, you can make them look, totally different. I think this is kind of cutesy, contemporary looking, but you could use like bold, bright colors and make it more modern looking, or you could maybe do more country looking, make it more farmhouse looking, or you could do totally solid, or you could, instead of doing the squares, I saw another pattern where they did more of a patchwork, and then some where they've just done more like strips going down. But I think these would be a really useful gift. You could do a set like of maybe 4 or 6 coasters and then tie a little bow around them. And all of these gifts too, I think, work well in sets. Like you could add this to one of the other gift ideas and give it as a set. So this was the Quilted Circle Coasters by Ellen Luckett Baker. Now the next gift idea is one that I've been meaning to make for a long time now. I first saw a pattern like this maybe a year or 2 ago, and whoever was making it on YouTube said they had made a lot for Christmas presents and they were really well received by her friends and relatives. But I've just now got around to making one, and that is an extra large hot pad. This is what mine looks like. Now you can find a lot of different tutorials on these. So the one I made is from Deb's Day, and she has a complete tutorial YouTube video that she gives the dimensions for the two pieces and talks about marking off your lines to do your quilting lines and how to put it together. I think these are really handy. Sometimes when I take a casserole dish straight out of the oven, I don't want to just place it directly on my countertop. So I'm always like getting like a couple of different pot holders and putting them down. And I always think, well, it'd be nice if I just had one large, pot holder to put down, or a hot pad. So this one is big enough to put a 9x13 casserole dish on and have a little left around the border. So for this, you'll only need a front and a back, and her front is 12 by 16 inches and the back is 15 by 19. It's a little bigger because it comes around and wraps and makes its own binding. And then she put, I believe, one layer of batting. I think she used cotton batting, which I did, and then she put one layer of Insulbright, the thermal batting, and those pieces were 12 by 16, the same as the front. Now, if you're wanting to use some scraps that aren't quite big enough, say for the front, I've seen on Pinterest where they've patched this together in strips and used it for the front. Sometimes they've done them, going up and down this way. And then I've seen one on Pinterest where they did the strips diagonally, and that was really cute. She uses a little of a basting spray to kind of hold the layers together, and then she pins them, and then she marks off she does her lines every 2 inches, and she just marks those with a fabric marker, and then uses a long stitch link to top stitch it. Now I will say that this is easier if you have a walking foot, and I did use my walking foot on it. It's not super bulky, so you don't necessarily have to have it, but it will probably make it easier. And then once you get these together, then you're going to fold in this backing. You're going to fold it, I think it's like a 1/2 inch, and then you're going to bring it in all the way to the edge. Now I hadn't done any mitered corners in a while, and she doesn't really talk about doing the corners. So I found another video that was really useful on YouTube. They weren't making like a mat. I think they were making a quilt or something, but it did use the backing to come around to the front. And she did a really good explanation and demonstration of how to make these corners look nice and neat. And I can't remember right now what her name was, but I'm going to link that video, I think, also in the description, just in case you need to brush up on your mitered corners. So that was the extra large hot pad by Deb's Day. That fabric was also some cute little fat quarters I got off of Etsy. I used that same collection of fat quarters to make the next item, and I think this item is the cutest one of the list. And that is this cute little heart pot holder. It's actually called Here's My Heart Pot Holder, and it's by So Can She. Now I think I did some other patterns by So Can She. Now, if you're not familiar with So Can She has a website, and then she has some patterns that are free, and then she has some paid patterns. Now, this one is a free tutorial and template. You will need to sign up for her email newsletter, and you'll want to do that because every day she will send an email, and in each email she highlights one of her patterns. And when you click on it, it will give the complete tutorial, and you can download the pattern template for free that day, but you have to do it that day that she puts it out. Now this is one that you don't have to do that. I think it's always free, but on the other ones that she sends out on her daily email, you'll want to click on those if you think you're interested in them to do some time, and then go to the blog, and then at the very bottom it's usually got the download button, and you can download them. Now, if you like a pattern on one of her emails, but you for some reason weren't able to click on it the day she sent it out, you can always buy the template, and her templates are like $3, so they're very inexpensive. But since she sends out an email each day, her patterns will usually rotate. So if you're not in a hurry to make something and you miss downloading the pattern, it will probably come back around and then you can download it. But this one is always free. You just have to sign up with your email and your name, and that's it. So when you download the pattern, it'll look like this. It's just half of a heart. For this pattern, she uses cotton fabric batting and also insulated batting. So from the outer fabric, the lining, the batting, and the insulated batting, you're going to cut out this heart on the fold once, and then you're going to cut 2 pieces, not on the fold. And then you are also going to need just a couple of strips to bind these front edges off, and they can be straight strips. They don't have to be bias binding. One thing I really liked about this pattern was that it doesn't really need bias binding. It just has a little bit of binding right here. You don't have to do like the whole outline of it. Now she will say when you're putting these layers together, so I used cotton batting just like I used on my hot pad. Then I also used a layer of the Insulite batting. So you're going to like pin all those layers together on your folded heart and then on your sides. And she does say that you will want to use a lot of pins. And she's not kidding, because even when I used a lot of pins and used my walking foot, these layers still wanted to shift around. Because first I did like pins every 2 or 3 inches, and they were shifting around. I just undid everything. But when I put them like about 1 inch apart around, then it was okay. But I did use the walking foot on that. So you're going to just, sandwich your layers together with these pretty sides out, and then you're just going to baste around the edges to keep everything together. And after that, she has this little heart, smaller heart, that's a template for the quilting. The only quilting on it is you're going to lay this heart on here and trace around it with a fabric pin, and then stitch through all the layers on this side. And then when you do the 2 pieces, say like this, you're going to get them as close together, right even, and then you're going to lay this on top and mark it and do a little quilting line around it. And then you'll put your 2 strips that bind it on here. And then you just have to put right sides together and stitch around the whole outside and turn it, and then top stitch all the way around it, and then you're finished. Now she does include in hers like a little hanging loop that you can insert before you sew everything together. But I don't hang my pot holder, so I just left it off. But I think this is really cute. So you would just stick your hand in here and grab your pan. Now, if I was giving this as a gift, I would definitely make 2 of these, because if you have a really heavy pan, you're going to want to have one on each hand. She did say in her tutorial that she had made some just using the Insulbright. She had kind of experimented with that without doing another layer of batting, and she said definitely up to like 400 degrees Fahrenheit. There was, she couldn't really feel any heat at all. And then over that, she could feel a little heat on her hand, but it wasn't like it was burning it. So I think these would be perfectly fine with just the 1 layer of Insulbright and not using the batting. So that's what I'm started making my second one, and on this one I've just got the Insulbright. I haven't done the other one, and I've already basted the layers together, and it definitely was a lot easier to keep these layers together without that extra other layer of batting. So anyway, I will finish that up, and then I'll have 1 for each hand. So I think that's just a really cute gift idea, especially if you use some really cute fabrics. So that was the Here's My Heart pot holder by So Can She. Okay, I've just got a couple more gift ideas, and the next one is also something to protect your hands from getting burned. And that is these little skillet handle mitts from Tracy Lynn Crafts. When you go to Tracy Lynn's Crafts blog, She will have a template for these. You can download her template pattern for free. And all it is there's 3 pieces. There's piece A, and you'll cut 8 pieces of cotton fabric from that. And that's to make two of these. And then you'll cut 4 of your thermal batting, so you will want to use the Insul Bright for that. And then you'll just cut 2 of these. I chose to do Tracy Lynn's pattern because it's not only just useful for the handle itself, it also has these little pockets on one side, and you can also use it for like the other end of your skillet or pot. Now, I brought one of my cast iron skillets in here to demonstrate. So you would just slip this on the handle just like this, and I made mine exactly like her templates. And you know, it's snug enough, but this is loose enough that it would also fit on a little bit larger. And see where this skillet has this part on this end where you hold it? Well, that's going to get very hot too. So then you just put your one finger, I think I can put 2 fingers into the little pocket area, and then you just fold it like this. Well, I'll probably do it like this. And then you hold your skillet like this. So it works perfectly. And sometimes in the past, I've had just pots that the handles got pretty hot, and I'd have to use a pot holder. Now, if I use those, I can just slip on my little mitt. So for these, you are gonna stack together like your cotton fabric, sandwich in your thermal batting, and then you're gonna stack like 2 sets on top of each other. And then if you want this little finger part, then you're going to stack it on that after you finish off the hemming, this little edge right here. And you will need some bias binding for this certain project, but it'll just go around the top, and I just kind of folded in the top edge, and then I seamed it down on one side and then turned it and then folded it over and sewed down the turn down edge. So this is a really quick and easy project, but I think it's a very useful one. And these are definitely useful for people that use cast iron skillets. So these little skillet or pot handle mitt were by Tracy Lynn Crafts. So I saved this next project for last because it uses a little bit different type fabric. It doesn't use just regular quilter's cotton. It uses laminated cotton. And it is a nice little reusable snack bag. And the pattern I used is by Hello Sewing. So in my stash, I didn't have any laminated cotton, but I knew I wanted to get some that was food safe. So I kind of went on the internet, did a little Google search. So in my search, I came up with a company called Splash Fabrics. And they make laminated cotton that is food safe. It doesn't have any harmful chemicals. Their process is really eco-friendly, so it's totally safe. And you can also wash this fabric. On one side, you know, it's going to be slick and waterproof, and then on the other side, it just feels kind of like a soft brush cotton. Now, this fabric is a little on the pricey side, so they sell it by the half yard, and it is $14 a half yard. Now, that's a little pricey. Now, they do have an option on their website where you can buy a bundle of what they call scrap fabric. And you don't know exactly how much fabric that is, but it comes out to 1.5 pounds. And they will say that it'll be an assortment, and no piece I think will be smaller than like 4x4. I decided to order that because you could get the 1.5 pounds of what they call scrap fabric for $24.99. I think their minimum shipping is $7.50. Now, if you happen to be a Seamwork member, Seamwork on their website for their members has a page with different online fabric companies, and they'll have codes for anywhere from like 10 to 20% off. And I think they offer Seamwork members 15% off. So for my order, that was like $3.75. So it kind of paid, you know, for half the shipping, I guess you could say. So before I get into the pattern itself, you might be wondering, well, how much fabric did I get? And I will say I got quite a bit of fabric. I measured it before I started the video. So my bundle came with about 7 or 8 pieces of fabric. And I thought when they said the minimum would be 4 by 4 inches, I thought, well, I'm going to get a bunch of little scraps, you know, just all different sizes. But you actually get some pretty big sizes, or I did. They offer several different prints. Some of them are really cute, but they also offer this kind of faux linen look print, and they have this in a bunch of different colors. And so all my big pieces are of their kind of faux linen. So of the gray, I got 2 pieces, and one's 42 inches wide by 16, one's 58 inches wide, which is their full length of fabric, by 20.5 inches. And then I got the same print in red, and it was 58 inches, the full width, by actually 47.5 inches, which I thought that was odd because they sell the fabric by the half yard, and that would actually be a little more than a half yard piece. So I wasn't sure why they had that one in it. But that's nice in case I want to make something that's kind of a fairly big size. I also got the linen look in blue. I had 2 different strips of 29 inches by 9 inches. And then I got a couple little strips of this blue floral. And each of those strips were 27.5 inches by 7. So, you know, I could make some snack bags with that also. So I got also this really cool bird print. Now these were my, I guess, smallest pieces. I got 2 of these that were 27.5 by 7.5. So I guess they're about the same as the blue floral. Now I do wish that one of the bigger pieces had been the bird, because that way if I was doing a project I could, you know, maybe center the bird, and it's got a cute little saying right here, and I could, you know, center that on a project. And then it was all tied up with this long strip of printed fabric that is plenty wide enough to do like a binding. If I have a project that needs to have a little binding on it, I can even use the strip that they tied my bundle up with. So I thought it was definitely worth getting the scrap bundle, because just in those bigger pieces I had over 2 yards. So that would have been over $56 worth, and plus I got several other, you know, the other smaller strip pieces, and then it only cost me like $25. So I would say you're definitely getting it less than half price if you get the scrap bundle. You just don't know, you know, what pattern you're getting or how big each piece is going to be. But I think if you got a bundle, it'd probably be a lot like mine, where you have some fairly big pieces and then, you know, some smaller pieces to go with it. So again, that was from Splash Fabrics. I did find another company when I Googled it that did some eco-friendly laminated cottons, and it was called Wazoodle, W-A-Z-O-O-D-L-E. They look like they were a lot like Splash Fabrics. The only thing I did notice that they didn't seem to offer it by the half yard. It looked like it was a yard. Now it was a little bit cheaper per yard. I think it was about maybe $24 a yard instead of $28, but I didn't see where you could get a scrap bundle on that one. So for the reusable snack bag, I used a pattern by Hello Sewing. And you can go to the website that I will link below, and she'll have this template. And she has a template, well, she calls this a sandwich bag. And it's just gonna look like this. And it also has a smaller bag inside here that she calls a snack bag, but I think that would be pretty small. And I didn't really need it, so I've done the bigger bag. And this is what it looks like. And you're just going to do 2 pieces from your template of the fabric, sew them together, leave, you know, opening to turn them right side out. Now this fabric is machine washable, but it's best if you can avoid washing, because the more you wash it, the waterproofing is going to gradually come off. And I think these will be very easy to clean without totally washing them. You can just wipe them off with a damp cloth. So you're going to turn it out, and then like I said, you can press the fabric, but you don't want to press the slick side. If you need to press it for any reason, do the cottony side, the other side, in kind of the lower temperature iron. But I just kind of press the seams out with my fingers. And then before you fold it up to top stitch, you're going to sew on your Velcro strips. So I just put one across here, and you're going to measure, make sure they come down even, and then you will just fold it up and top stitch around, and that's all there is to it. So because it is, you know, doubled on the front and the back, the inside it has the slick and the outside has the slick. So this pattern would be really easy to adjust, to make it smaller, to make it, you know, bigger. You could even make it big enough to be a whole lunch sack, to put your whole lunch in. This one's big enough for a sandwich. So I think this will be a really good gift idea, especially made for people that have kids that want to, you know, travel with snacks, or they take their lunches to school. You can make some of these, and they even have some, you know, cute prints like with cats and other animals on it that you could use. So Hello Sewing offers the free pattern, and she also has a video that gives all the instructions. So that's my last pattern for my kitchen gift ideas. I hope you've enjoyed them. Like I said before, I think you could put several of these together to make a really nice gift to give someone. Christmas, or even like a wedding shower or birthday. Since most everyone has a kitchen, they're not only cute, but they're very useful, and I think they'll be well received by your friends and family. So if you enjoyed this video, I would love for you to give a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed already, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button. Also too, I would love to hear which gift idea you like the best, which one you might plan on making, or if you've already made some of these, let me know that and how you like them. So I hope everyone will have a great week, and until my next video, take care and happy sewing.